Welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. I'm Ken Dekker.
And I'm Ryan Dekker.
And today we have a fun show.
Oh, it's fun.
We decided that we'd put together an eclectic set of questions that people have asked and fun stories that realtors run into. So, let me start off. Recently, it's really interesting because there's an ad on TV right now. I think it's on TV by our association. And it's about protecting a buyer from buying a home that's downwind from a pig farm. And recently, Candace actually was working with some clients. And they wanted to see a house. She showed it to them, and then she was discouraging them from buying it. And they said, no, we want to buy it. This is the right house for us. And she said, no, I don't think you want to buy it. And he said, yeah, we want to buy it, and we think this is the right house. And it turns out that, the first notch against it was windmills. They just installed windmills nearby. So windmills is kind of one of those unknowns yet. Some people say they don't want to live by them, they're noisy, they can be noisy, whatever. And so we're not quite sure how it's going to affect the values of properties, but it won't make them go up, we know that. So they're either going to stay the same or go down, so it's not really a good bet. And then the second thing was, there is a pig farm, and it was just upwind a little ways, this pig farm. And so when Candace told them that there was a pig farm and it was downwind, their house would be downwind from this pig farm, they said, realtors really do save us, because they had seen the ad, so that was pretty cool. So another question that came in is, the market's a little different right now. We're kind of shifted into a buyer's market. And it said, should I wait to buy a house?
There's an Asian proverb that we love to use, and that is, when's the best time to plant a tree?
20 years ago.
20 years ago. And I believe it's the same with real estate. The market is not going down. Some areas might be going down slightly at 1% or whatever it is. And the appreciation and the mortgage pay down over the long term will be much greater than that small loss in the short term. Mm-hmm. And so even your mortgage pay down will be higher than that.
So the best time to buy a house was 20 years ago.
Or
the next best time?
Now.
Great. That's awesome. I also have a saying about that. You want to hear my saying?
I do.
It's a dad saying.
Uh-oh.
Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
Very good.
Okay.
Clever.
So, Ryan, you had an incident where you were showing a farm property. Tell us about that. That was a good story.
So I was a new realtor, and I didn't know a ton about farmland and the fact that it's prepared in such a way. So I'll explain it. We get there, and there's a muddy trail. It had been raining, and my client's like...
It's a laneway.
It's a laneway, kind of, with rivets and mud and whatever. And my client in their van is like, let's go to the back. I don't want to walk. Let's drive it. And it's a 100-acre property, and this is probably for the first acre or so, this little path. And so we jump into their van. I'm not taking my little car. It's not getting anywhere. And he's got 4 kids in the back and his wife, and I'm sitting in the front seat with him in the passenger seat, and he just floors it. And we start slipping left and right, and mud's flying everywhere, covers the entire windshield, and he puts on the window wipers, but there's no fluid left. It's empty. So it's just smearing the mud so that we can't see anything. He's got his head out the window. The kids are screaming for their lives. I'm laughing my head off because I'm a bit of a adrenaline junkie. Yeah. And the wife's like, you idiot, blah, 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 Sorry, you might have to bleep that. And it was really, really funny. And so we get to the end of this trail, and he's got water bottles, and he's trying to wash his windshield so he can see again. And he's like, there's no way we're going back the way we came. And so he decides, let's go through the field.
Because the field looks smooth.
Because the field is smooth and flat, it's for hay. And he drives about 5 feet and sinks right down past the wheels, like it's flush. And so we're not moving anywhere.
So the axles are resting.
So the axles are resting right on the dirt.
Okay.
And so we decide, okay, well, let's push it back to where we came from. So we're pushing and heaving, and I'm in a suit with my dress shoes, and
I guess you shouldn't show farm property with dress shoes and a suit.
You learn. Learn as you go. And so I'm covered. We're running through the fields, trying to go to the other farmers, trying to get them to bring their tractor over to pull us out. Finally, on the third home, this lovely couple come with their tractor and pull us out. And the homeowners are just shaking their head like, what are you idiots doing? And it's quite the adventure.
That's a good one. So did they buy the farm?
They didn't. Another client did. So
okay. All right. So back to something a little more serious. What's the most that we've sold a property over asking?
Well, a couple months ago, we had a property that was in pretty rough repair, and it was fairly old, but the lot was in a key location, and it was a fairly good-sized lot. So we knew that it should sell for, I don't know, about 500-ish, maybe a little less, and we decided to price it at 400, a lot less than what it would sell for. Wow. Crazy, right? And we knew that if we put it at that price in this location, that we would get multiple offers, and it would sell for a lot more than asking. And we went with a week period with no offers. You cannot send us an offer for a week. And so we waited anxiously.
And did we get any offers?
We got no offers at that time for a week.
Yes, we did.
Sorry, we got one the day of, you're right.
Yeah.
And then another
We had to refuse it.
Had to refuse it. We had 2 or 3 bully offers, and that just means they want us to accept it before we're receiving any other offers. So we had to keep saying no, and they were more than asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was tough to say no.
It was tough to say no when the seller really wants the house gone. And yet we stuck to our guns, and on the day that we were receiving offers, we got 20 offers.
20 offers.
20 offers. And we ended up selling it for more than 50%, more than $250,000 more than asking. So 50% more than asking. And we had it sold firm that night.
So no conditions.
No conditions.
No finance, no inspection, no nothing.
Finance, nothing.
Wow, that's a great story, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Okay. So if we were to buy a property right now, let's say we got a first-time buyer who's thinking about buying a home, what would their payments be on, say, a $300,000, you can get an older, small single for $300,000, or you can get a nice townhouse for $300,000. What would their payments be like?
Well, your payments, meaning mortgage payments?
Yeah, and so they're budgeting. They want to figure out whether this makes sense. Maybe they're renting a townhouse now for $1,500 or $1,600 a month.
Yep.
They're probably paying their own utilities, and they're wondering, can I afford to buy my own? How much down payment do I need, and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So a first-time home buyer has a bit of an exemption on the closing costs because they're a first-time home buyer, and they're going to need 5% down as a minimum.
So that's $15,000.
$15,000.
And then a bit of closing costs.
Yep.
But a first-time buyer also gets some rebates, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they could get about $2,000 off of their land transfer tax. So almost no land transfer tax.
A grand.
About $1,000.
Yeah.
And they're also going to, they could use their RSP money. They could pull some RSP money out for their down payment.
Yep.
Okay. So they got to come up with this 5% and a bit of closing costs. Now, what about mortgage payment?
So mortgage payment, if you're 5-year fixed right now, 25-year amortization, 5% down, you're looking at $1,348 a month.
So about $1,350.
Yep.
And that's going to be locked in $1,350 for 5 years, whereas their rent may go up, right?
Absolutely.
So $1,350, and then taxes.
And of that, almost half is going to be principal pay down. So that's money that they will get to see again.
Okay, so of the $1,350, about $650 or $700 a month is like putting money in the bank.
Yeah.
Instead of into their landlord's pocket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Taxes, you're going to pay roughly $3,000 for the year, so $250 per month.
Okay.
And then you've got insurance, about $75 a month for the property. And then your hydro and heat, we're estimating at about $250.
Okay.
And that will change depending on the age of the property, if it's attached to other homes. Yeah.
So if they were renting at $1,500 a month plus their utilities, now it's going to cost them about $1,575 plus their utilities, and they're putting $600 or $700 a month into the bank. It's a good deal.
It's a good deal.
Okay.
And they've got appreciation in the property.
So for this person, if they're a renter right now who asked, what are my payments on a $300,000 house, this could be a great way to start building wealth just to get themselves into their own house. Okay. All right. So any other funny stories?
Yeah. You keep telling me about this one that Yetta was trying to list a property.
Oh, yeah.
What happened there?
Yetta went to see a client about selling their house. And as most good realtors do, we take our shoes off at the door. And she left her nice brand new leather pumps, 2.5-inch heel pumps at the door, and went and spent some time with the client. And when she went to leave, the dog had chewed the heel off of one of her new shoes. So she had one with a 2.5-inch lift and one that was flat. And she had to kind of hobble out of the house. And so that was $100 pair of shoes down the drain. The worst part was they didn't decide to use our services to sell their house. So that was a funny story. Another one was interesting. I was showing a property, and it was a multi-unit. And I knocked on the door, and one of the tenants opened the door to let us in, and their dog ran out. And this little dog, I don't even remember what kind of dog it was. It was little, but it was fast. And he ran out, and then he ran out onto the road, and it was like a regional road, like a highway kind of thing. So people are going 80 kilometers an hour on that thing. And the tenant's screaming at me, my dog's gonna be killed. And she's all upset. And this dog kept running back and forth across the road as I tried to catch it. So I'm running along, and I'm stopping traffic. I got my hands up, stopping the traffic, going both ways, while we chased this dog down. So that was...
And did you get the dog?
We got the dog. Took
Awesome.
close to 20 minutes, but we got the dog. Dog was fine.
And talking about tenants, sometimes when we show multi-properties, we've had permission, we've been given the notice, and you go into the unit and you announce that you're there. You go into a room, flick on the lights, and you get these squinty eyes out from the sheets looking at you, moaning like, oh, the lights! And you're like, ah! So you flick off the lights, and for some reason they decided that now is a good time to take a nap. And it happens more than you think. So you show it in the dark, and away you go.
Yeah, it's always embarrassing when someone's in bed when you get in, and you knock and everything. You knock loud. Usually, I open the door, I yell at realtor.
Yeah, me too.
And still, you get some sleeping people.
And you went into a property once that had a lot of dogs. Tell us about that.
Oh, that was a horrible one. We went out to the country, and my buyers couldn't afford very expensive homes. So we were looking at a home, and this was back pretty close to my beginning of my career, like back 20 years ago. So we went to this home that was like $80,000 in the country. And we got there, and there were dogs everywhere. And I went into the house, and because I wasn't experienced, 99% of the time I'd take my shoes off when I get to a house, when I'm walking in, because they've cleaned it, it's prepped, it's nice, right? There's the odd house where you shouldn't take your shoes off. This was one of them. And I didn't think of that, so I took off my dress shoes, my clients took off their shoes, we walked through the house, decided it wasn't for them, put our shoes back on, got back in the car, and all of us were scratching our legs. We were being bitten by fleas. The carpet in the house was flea infested, so they had jumped up onto our pants, and they made it into my car. So it was that was a really
a fun one.
A really great one. Yeah. So we got another question here. It says, are townhomes good investment properties?
In a short answer, yeah.
Wow, that's short.
That is short. It's one word, actually. They often are. You want to make sure if you're, going to be a landlord that it can rent and that it can cash flow, at least cash flow zero for the first couple of years, and then it'll get better. It also, it always depends on the building, structural, windows, roof, furnace, but a townhouse in itself, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. So that could be good. So if you're just joining us on the Inside Track on Real Estate, today we're just talking about funny stories and questions that we've had people ask us, so that it's a very eclectic show. We're just having fun with it. We hope you're having fun with it as well. And we're just going to continue on with good stories. Mm-hmm. And at the end, we will talk about a couple properties that we have for sale, or at least one.
So Ken, if you're to buy a house before it's built from the builder, does it go up faster than if it was a resale home?
Well, that's a great question. And many of our investors actually ask us that because they go, well, I'd like to buy this house. It's going to be a year or two before it's built. And whether it's a condo or freehold or townhouse or whatever, it doesn't really matter. And is it going to go up in value? That's the first question. Is it going to go up in value? Second question is we only put down 10 or 15%. So are we making more because we're highly leveraged? And it's a good question, but I consider it speculative. It's very risky because depending on what your future use is, if your use is going to be we're going to live in it, then that allows less risk because you know what your payment's roughly going to be. Hopefully you can lock in an interest rate. A lot of builders have banks that will lock in for a year.
More expensive.
But you pay a little higher, but they can lock it in. So you know what your payment's going to be. So that's important. And as you do something like that, you may make extra money on it because if it's a new area, the builders, it's the first ones he's trying to get sold. Sometimes they discount them to get the first part of the subdivision going, and then they're going to raise in price as it goes along. The difficulty is, if you're one of the first that are built, you're also going to be living in the dust and the dirt and the construction noise and all of that. So there's a price to pay for doing this. Now some people tell me, well, they want to rent it, and that's why they're doing it. That's where it gets even more risky, because A, you may not know what the interest rate's going to be. B, you're going to have to pay the GST on the property and ask for, or the HST, and ask for the HST rebate back to you once you have a lease in place with a tenant. And we don't know what it's going to rent for in a year or 2 years from now. If I have an existing property, I know what it's going to rent for. And so that takes a lot of risk out of it. Plus I can advertise and try to get a tenant before I even close on the property, so probably I'm not vacant. Can't do that with a new build because you can't show it until you take possession, so it might be empty for a month or two. So a little more risky, a little less down initially, but then, so there's a lot of more variables. I personally don't recommend it.
Yeah, especially in the condo market right now.
Yeah, personal if you want to live in it, yeah, it's good. It's good, but it's more risky, more speculative, so know your risks.
And I mean, for a buyer, it can be nice too when you get to choose all your own colors, all your own cupboards, and your flooring, and
it can be. And some buyers aren't cut out for that. It's too much. It's too much to think about. Too many decisions. They can't visualize it. They can't visualize which floor plan to buy. Personally, I've built so many homes and been in so many homes. If I look at the blueprint, I can walk through the house in my head and see it. But many people can't. So they don't know if it's going to be big enough. They get in and they go, oh, this room doesn't work for me, or this floor plan doesn't work, or the noise from this room is too noisy in another room that needs to be a quiet room. And so they just don't understand the flow of the house. So.
And you got to be careful with upgrades as well.
Yeah, I've seen houses go up for sale, $100,000, $150,000 in upgrades, and you look at them and you go, where'd they spend that money? Because it really doesn't look like it's here. Okay. I had another person that bought a house. They didn't use me to, they didn't take my advice. They did use me, but they didn't take my advice on which model to pick and how to set it up for that particular lot. Because what they were buying was it was a corner lot, and it actually had water view. There was a bit of a park, but then there was water, the river on the side. And so I suggested they create and put a model on there that would have extensive use of the windows on the side of the house and add extra windows, and their master would face out there, so from the second story they could look out onto the water. And, they chose a different model, and they chose one that didn't have any windows on that side and didn't add any. And so they really lost the benefit of being that close to the water. So really getting help when you're picking a new house, new construction. Person that asked this, if you're thinking of a new build, before you go see the builders, I would suggest give us a call, and we'll take you to the new builders. because the builder's salesperson only has one product to sell, and that's their builder's product, whereas we can sell anybody's product. And it may be the best thing for you, and it may not, but we'll be able to help guide you through that.
And also, if you go before us, the builder won't be willing to work with us?
Yeah, they won't cooperate with us. They won't pay us a fee for selling their house. And
whereas if you go with us, they will.
Yeah, and we're allowed to be more intimate in the process with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We had another funny story, and this story happened to another realtor. It didn't actually happen to me. They let a cat out of a house. And pets are probably a realtor's nemesis. What's that word? Nemesis, yeah. Because we never know. You knock on the door because you're going to go in, you hear loud barking or something, and you go, ugh, is it a friendly dog? How will even a friendly dog react if there's nobody home and the stranger comes into the house? You know, they may protect the house. You don't know. So it's always a scary thing. And I've had little dogs, it's a little dog. You open the door and the dog's scared and they pee on the floor. And then it's not the best first impression for your buyer when you walk in and you got to go find paper towel and clean up the floor. But at any rate, in this particular house, a cat who wasn't supposed to be out, because we usually get notification if there's a cat that can come and go, or they're inside cats, they're not supposed to go outside or whatever. So in this particular case, they didn't have any instruction. They opened the door and the cat ran out. And he said, oh no. So they showed the house real quickly, and then they went out trying to find the cat, because usually cats won't go too far away from the property. So 20 minutes chasing this cat. They found the cat underneath the deck in the back. So they're crawling in their dress clothes, trying to get this cat, finally get a hold of the cat in the corner. And you know what a cat does when they're cornered?
Oh, they're not nice.
No, they hiss and they got their claws out. And so I guess the humane way to carry a cat is by the scruff of the neck, because it doesn't hurt them. But they grabbed this cat by the scruff of the neck, carried it, and it's hissing and clawing, and they put it in the house and close the door and lock it up. And then about a half an hour later, they get a phone call, and the homeowner is saying, whose cat is in my house? That's not my cat, and why did you put him in there? So they spent 20 minutes, captured the wrong cat. Yeah, so there's lots of fun stories. Yeah. Any other questions you've been getting?
Well, I've got one more cat or dog story.
Oh, yeah, another dog story.
Yeah, this... Not from the Dekker Team, but a lovely agent was going to do a listing appointment, and as she opened the door, the homeowner's dog ran past her and, rubbed up against her leg, and she had, her beautiful little skirt on, and now it's hair and mud, and the dog just tracks mud right through the house, and
on the carpet
and everything, and the realtor's like, what kind of person would do this? And who would let their dog run around like that? Like, at least clean their feet. And it was cream carpet. Like, it was a pristine house. And so she's going through the house, doing the listing appointment, and the dog pees on the curtains.
No.
And the realtor's like, you don't see that every day. And the homeowner's like, you're right. I've never seen an agent bring their dog before. And so they were both thinking it was the other person's dog.
So it didn't belong there?
Didn't belong there. It was a neighbor's dog. And so needless to say, she got the curtains clean, sold the house, and happy ending.
Yeah, she cleaned the carpet and
the
everything.
Curtains, yeah. The realtor paid for that. 'Cause, yeah.
Oh, nice realtor.
Nice realtor, yeah.
That's funny. Well, we've got a property to talk about.
All right.
This is a great property on Parkdale. Do you know where Parkdale Avenue is?
Should I?
Parkdale Avenue, right down, kind of almost downtown, by Richmond Road and that. This is a nice condominium. If you want one of the nicest condominiums in the building, this is it. It's a one bedroom, and yet it's dressed up, beautiful kitchen, beautiful stainless steel appliances, really decorated. Top notch. So if you want something to move into that is
more than turnkey.
More than turnkey, yeah. Just a beautiful place. This is the one. So give the Dekker Team a call at 613-860-4663. Now the other thing is, if you want to build your own home, or you want to have a home built, and you'd like to be on the water, we've got a property for you. If you want to be east, maybe you're gonna retire. Yeah, we can even sell both of them at the same time. How big are they? They're a little over an acre each.
Yeah.
So you'd have like over 2 acres of waterfront.
Yeah, almost 3.
It's kind of a bluffy kind of.
Yeah, you've got water access, view of the mountains. It's a pretty location.
Really? Okay, and that's east of Ottawa.
Yep, east of Ottawa.
So good if you're a commuter, or good if you're a retiree or whatever. You want to build your dream home. And those lots are around how much?
150.
150 for a waterfront lot. That's not
beautiful.
bad. That's not bad. So give Ryan or myself a call if you're interested in building your own home, whether it be that lot or another lot. The number is 613-860-4663. And we've had fun today. Yeah. And if you've got a fun story, or you've got a question that you'd like us to answer on a future show, feel free to give us a call. 613-860-4663. 613-860-4663. And we've got an upcoming
workshop.
We've got
some really good ones coming up. So we've got the buyer workshop.
Right.
And that's for first-time home buyers, or people who want to buy an investment property, or even someone who just hasn't bought a home in a while.
Okay. So who's going to be there? Just us? Like they're tired of listening
I'm
to us.
going to be there.
Oh, you're going to be there?
I'm going to be there. You won't.
Okay.
And we're going to have a mortgage broker, Lynn Fraser, will be there, and our lawyer, Matt Mayo.
Okay.
And we'll be able to answer any questions you guys have, and you're going to get a really great education of how the process works, what to be aware of, how much it costs, and you can even get pre-approved.
all that expert advice, what's that cost?
It's free.
Free?
It's free.
Wow, that's a good deal.
It is a good deal.
We probably should get a bigger room.
Probably.
So if you want to come to that home buyer's workshop, whether you are a first-time buyer or you're just buying another home and it's been 20 or 30 years and you don't remember the process, or you've never sold a home before.
Or maybe you've got a kid who's, 18, 17, and they're thinking of buying their first home, bring them.
Yeah,
what
that'd
better
be great.
way to educate them?
That'd be great. So it's the third Thursday of this month, third Thursday, and you can give us a call at 613-860-4663 to register. That'd be great. Or you can email us at dekkerteam@chri.ca. We'd love to answer your questions. We'd love to see you out at one of our workshops, and we'd love to hear from you. And again, you've been listening to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. We're happy to be your real estate resource for life. Bye for now.
What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on